Hey guys, welcome to Coffee, Love, and Books. Today my wrap-up is going to be a lot different because I did not read a whole ton this month, so I'm just merging it with my reading vlog to make it more spicy and just to let you know how it's going so far. If you are also school, work, social life, just trying to survive this past month, just understand that there are people who are going through the exact same thing. So with that being said, I finished one book this month. And I'm kind of proud of myself. So let's get into the reading vlog wrap up. Different angle. Okay, so I made progress on 4 books and I read 1 book all the way through. And that was also a carryover from another month, so it was not a great reading month. I also read parts 1 and 2 of The Promise from the Avatar graphic novels. Actually, a decent amount happened to my reading life this month. So, without further ado, let's just get into the first book I worked on this month, which was The Lies of Locke Lamora. I am 184 pages into this book, which is not at all much farther than I was at the beginning of this month. How do I feel about this? I feel like if I sat down and I read like 100 pages, I would be so into this book right now. That being said, I've been reading tiny snippets. I haven't had many emotions that were able to carry super far for super long. And I've just been kind of reading it whenever I have extra time while I'm waiting for my parents to pick me up at work. I enjoy it, I really do. But it might not be the right book for right now. I don't even know if most fantasy books are great for my life right now. Just because they need effort and they need time. And I've not been very good at giving them that for this past month. So, Lies of Locke Lamora, I like it so much more than I did at the start. I'm getting connected to it. I'm still not, it takes a lot for me to actually root for a thief, so that's taking a little bit of time, but I think I will come around on this whole like thief life thing, and there hasn't really been much opposition so far to our characters, so that makes it very much like you're just watching these guys go around committing robberies and stuff, and it makes it feel very like low stakes. They have such a good handle on things, and that's very fun, but it also makes it not extremely compelling to read. So I am enjoying this. I might take a break because I just have not been able to give it the love it deserves lately, so we will see. Leading me into the next book I worked on this month, which was this first book in the Stormlight Archive, The Way of Kings. It's been a journey. I was really getting into The Way of Kings. Not so sure about that Shallan girl. Is it Shallan or Shallan? Please forgive me if I pronounced it wrong. Not so sure about her. Not really rooting for her very much, but I do like her as a character. And Kaladin is he has risen to a new level since I've started. I think I'm about 200 pages in, and then I had to take a break because it was due at the library, but it's available now, so I'm gonna get back to it ASAP. So, The Way of Kings has been, it really is a fantastic book, and I just have not been able to give it the love. Again, just not a great month for me to be reading 2 large fantasy books, but I really liked it. I'm excited to keep going, to devote more attention to it. I always say that. and just kind of get lost in the Stormlight Archive for a little bit. I know how many people love it, which makes me excited to love it, but I do need to devote time to it. So the next book I got pretty far into is The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Wow. This book is so good. And I've been kind of obsessing over the 20s lately, as is made evident by a recent upload. And this is just perfect. And it's so good. And it's fascinating. I enjoy it a lot. What chapter? I'm about to read chapter 5. So I'm about 80 pages in. And it's only like 200 pages long. So less. Wow, this is a short book. And I don't know why people don't like it. It's super exciting, super intriguing. You cannot Google anything related to it without spoilers. It's so intriguing. It has so many layers to it, and it's really exciting, and just the characters are all kind of awful people, so that makes it really fun. And I've been having a great time, especially since it's the only homework I've just been really looking forward to. So I've really been liking this book, and out of all the books I would have to read, I'm really glad this is it. So I started reading Jurassic Park this month, and it was fine. It was pretty, like, I really enjoyed the setup. It took me a while to get what was actually going on because I know nothing about the story, and that was super exciting to kind of figure things out along with our main characters. I don't remember how far I was into it. Not very far, a few chapters. And I thought it was really cool. It's a great setup, and just all in all, really liked it. And that leads me on to the last book, which is Mansfield Park. Let's hope I don't take forever on this. So, Mansfield Park, out of all the Austens I've read, it is maybe number 3. The ending was so rushed. Like, I just don't understand you, Jane Austen. I've been actually hearing a decent amount of hate towards Jane Austen. Not hate, actually, but people not liking her writing typically. And I realize that I really understand why. Because although I love Pride and Prejudice to death, Sense and Sensibility, Emma, they really had me like, when is this? Just spit it out, Jane Austen. Just give me some kind of plot here. And it's funny because she'll just ramble for like the first 2/3 of the book, and then for the last 1/3 it'll be like actually a plot, and then it resolves in the last page, and I'm baffled at this format. It can really lose people, and that's what Mansfield Park was. My issues with this book don't really stem much from the pacing, because audiobook you can kind of listen to whatever, and it won't bother you as much as it will with a physical copy. But I think one of the main issues I had was Jane Austen really ignored the rule show don't tell in this, especially in relation to Mary Crawford. I liked Mary. I know she said some critical things, but she seemed like a very decent woman. And the only reason you would know she wasn't a desirable person was because Fanny tells you. And you're just like, well, I'm in Fanny's head. She's super kind of self-righteous. And don't get me wrong, I love Fanny. She was so strong in the face of abuse. But there's also another issue that comes along later in this book. This might be below Emma. I definitely enjoyed it more than Emma, but I don't think, like, there were way more problematic elements to it. So, Fanny is great. She sticks to her guns. I was not rooting for her. She is in love with her cousin. Like, I get that's the thing back then, but I I would not root for that personally. And I thought Mary was a great match for her cousin, whose name Edmund. And although I really liked Edmund, I don't know. I wasn't rooting for our main characters, which I always have in Jane Austen's. I've really enjoyed the books before Mansfield Park, and I really enjoyed Mansfield Park. I feel like I'm not going to do it justice right now because there were elements I loved about this book and places where I really disagree with people, but I do understand why people don't like Fanny, why people don't like Edmund. And also there were several issues that just were kind of like glazed over. Like, it's clear that her aunt and her other aunts are abusive to her, that they treat her like she's lesser than, like, they're very emotionally abusive, and that's just kind of glazed over. Like, there isn't a confrontation, and here's a spoiler alert for Mansfield Park. Don't watch until timestamp. If you don't want spoilers to this book. Even at the end, Fanny's sister is left with her Aunt Bertram. And I was like, why? Why is this the ending? Her aunt is clearly abusive, does not treat her well. And the sister being left with her is the happy solution that we were looking for. Like, I'm really, really, really confused right now. And other problematic elements. She's sent to her parents' house to show her that she should marry this guy that she doesn't want to marry. And I thought that was fine. I was kind of rooting for him, and it's fine that she did not end up with him. I'm perfectly okay with that. The thing I'm not okay with is her going to her poor parents' house and her actually hating it, which I thought was an interesting element to the story, but it just kind of erased all that idea of class and why marrying down apparently isn't actually a good thing to do. It just felt very, like, I don't know, it bothered me a lot. And there's probably something super genius in that choice. It bothered me. All in all, really liked the book. It was fun to get swept away in, no matter how problematic it kind of was. Also, the romance was added, and never mind. I'm not going to talk about the romance. Anyway, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I didn't love it. I didn't get super bored because audiobook. And it was fine. There were things that bothered me, like the choices, but don't get me wrong, I love Jane Austen. This book. Alrighty, now let's get into the montage thing.